Let's keep moving on to the next deck. Let's try out, well, I guess let's not go to, well, maybe vampires. Just keep going by the order that they're offered in. Let's play vampires. See where that gets us. Should have a little bit more staying power. So now we're down to 8:45. So this is definitely 8 hours, 45 minutes until my next quest is available. And I guess also somehow one of these quests is off screen while I have deck selection available. No idea why. And then these like switched in order. Or do I just have an extra one? Confirm, swap, cancel. What the hell? Wait, what? If I'm here. Like somehow here was an extra quest, right? Win 2 games with a blue and black deck. Cast 12 black and red spells. And then if I go play. Now it's no longer here, but somehow my quests ended up like right over here, and these like switched order and were there. Let's click on the vampires again and see if we can recreate that. Yeah, now my quests are all like screwed up. I guess they're just like doubled or something, because like these and these are the same, but like now they're on the left side and the right side of my screen, and this is the same as well, so it kind of just loops around now. The quests just like mirror themselves and show up twice. And this is like the point where quests usually end, but then on the left of this, everything just repeats. It seems like an unwanted effect. Okay, so vampires it is. Let's fire it up. Waited 2 seconds. Well, that's the upside. Everyone's playing this. More rank 4 opponents. Omega Beast. Was Omega Beast the blue-black control that guy we faced or not? Not certain anymore. Abandon match. Why is this available to me now? I guess my opponent didn't show up. Let's see what happens if I don't abandon match for now. They showed up late. I guess that was my point, to rage quit out of being paired against another rank 4. But we will try our best to defeat them. And not mulliganing to 5 this time should help. Also, this hand is quite the nice setup, especially if it is the blue-black control deck. If they have like Essence Scatter open and I can resolve a non-creature way of putting multiple tokens onto the board, that should be favorable to me. Yeah, I've seen it before, the FNM promo opt. It was already spoiled with the Spanish cards. Looks pretty nice. Evolving Mods. So we don't have the most impactful creatures available to us here, but we do get to go out ahead on the board, and also this is likely one of my stronger cards, though I still have no idea what is going on in this Vigilance icon. Lifelink makes some sense. The what is below the lifelink looks like, I don't know, like the pincers of some kind of beetle or scarab or something. I mean, it's just some kind of framing, or like the beginning of a stethoscope or something. I have no idea what they were thinking with these icons. Also, there's no lifelink icon on this, even though it creates lifelink tokens. Not sure if that's a good idea. Like, you could at least explain the keyword to me, lifelink. Yeah, I mean, the plus I get, like, what is below that though? Obviously the plus sign for like a healing effect is very obvious and easy to understand, and this kind of Vigilant Lantern or whatever it is seems pretty far-fetched for any kind of explanation with this. The clock is definitely a triggered ability of some sort. All triggered abilities that don't have a keyword. Still no idea why they have this, and also why it's never explained anywhere. Like, it's on all the cards. Like, this has a trigger when it comes in because it allows me to gain life. This draws me a card. And then like attack triggers and like all these triggers. I mean, this one has a comes into play, but it also affects cards that don't have comes into play triggers, but they never explain it anywhere. and it goes away after the trigger was already used, so that makes some sense. But yeah, I guess the game should have a tutorial at some point when it's fully released, so that people who are not as familiar with Magic, or just not as familiar with this software, can learn what it's all about. This looks like blue-black control again. Might actually be the same opponent. Still not sure why Arena thinks I'm worthy of rank 4 opponents when all they have done is destroy me. But this draw should give my blue-black control opponent a run for his money. Unless they golden demise me or something. Because multiple small bodies matches up well against spot removal, as well as being ahead on the board, matching up well to a bunch of counter spells. Though Bishop of Binding is not that great against against Ravenous Chupacabra. Though it could help delay the Scarab God a little bit if they tap out for Scarab God and I exile it. They at least have to spend a removal spell on my creature and can start immediately activating theirs. Tetsimok. That also seems pretty unfair, though I guess Tetsimok is in the pre-constructed blue-black deck, so everyone has access to at least one. So they activated Tetsimok once and then passed with 2 mana open, so that indicates they have Negate and or Essence Scatter available to them, or Moment of Craving. Though it seems weird to mark this Dusk Legion Zealot instead of any of my lifelink tokens. Unless they have something that punishes same names, but I can't think of anything. Because, well, with a bounce spell would make sense, because the tokens are much worse when bounced. But on the board, this is a much stronger creature than the Zealot. This one is better in my graveyard, because I can recur it potentially and then recast it. And also this doesn't have lifelink, so it seems like a small error by my opponent. At least on the surface. Okay, I assume it's just Essence Scatter that they're holding up, and then I want to punish them for not doing anything with their mana. It could also be Censor. Okay, they also have the Negate, or at least they did have the Negate. That's unfortunate, because I would have really liked to build a board of 5 creatures to punish them for slow playing with their Tetsimok. Well, I guess they're just now Death Touch. Okay, that's the most logical of all the icons I've seen so far. It's like a hand with a little skull over it. Like in the palm of the hand is a skull. So that's quite literally like if it touches it gives you death. Can't really make that much more visual than it currently is. So I like that symbol. That makes a lot of sense. Once again, they held open extra counter mana here. Though I guess all my creatures were already marked, so they really couldn't have gotten more out of their Tetsimok than they did here. Is this a May? And just exile target creature and opponent control. So even though it's not a May, it would still allow me to cast this without having to exile something. Probably still don't want to, but yeah, this Tetsimok is going to be a problem. I guess my plan is to... oh, Moment of Craving, never mind. My plan was to... wait, now I get to do this? I mean, it's still not that great for me, but probably do want to do this. I don't know. Just wanted to put pressure on them and then use my Shepherd Dunes to get 8 points of damage in the turn before they Tetsimok me. And then after Tetsimok I can follow up with Bona, which might help me still get the last points of damage in. Can trade all the life total that I've built up here with the lifelink tokens for the ability to close out the game by getting some of their permanents off the board. Cliffkeeper's annoying though, because it dodges my Desert's Hold. If it was just Scarab God, I would have been in a better position actually, because I could have Desert's Hold at that and kept attacking. Though the life total swing by Moment of Craving, as well as my opponent's ability to stabilize the board here with Cliffkeeper, were both pretty annoying to me. Though I guess if I run out Vona, they will delay this Tetsimok another turn and just mark Vona. Can give 6 damage and lose one of my creatures. Then I also lose my Desert. Yeah, I think I'll just slam Vona. That's not a very promising plan, but at least I can... Wait, choose an attacker? What? Choose attack... Oh, no, I don't want to choose attackers. No attackers. Yeah, if they waste too much time, I can potentially get there with Tunes, but my deck also doesn't have a lot of reach. If I lose my entire board to Tetsimok, should pretty much close out the game. Air Elemental, okay. Or at least the Vona is going to be trading for something. But yeah, this Tetsimok is a problem. This is kind of like slightly overpowered, limited eggs against each other. So, as it does in limited, this Tetsimok ends up being a nightmare. Okay, I think I'll maximize the amount of damage I get in. Combat. Attacks. All attacks. 5 attackers. And then what? No, this doesn't do anything. Sure. Yes. And get their air elemental out of here. Though beating Tetsimok still seems like a long shot. I'm only getting 8 damage in here, putting them down to 7. So my losing streak against rank 4 seems to continue. Also, it seems weird that like I haven't seen anything between rank 1 and rank 4. Not sure if you're like that's just the progression, and if you win enough on rank 1 you immediately end up on rank 4, or maybe the matchmaking is just configured in that way. Who knows? Timeout used. I guess that's a way for us to win. Still don't know what happens if you run out of all of your timeouts. If it just skips through the turn and then gives you another chance to keep playing on in your turn, or if you actually just lose the match when there's no more timeouts left. Wait, was there an explanation here? I still wanted to know what these white dots are. And clicking on them just brings up the same amount of dust that clicking anywhere on the map does. Even like this fireplace is dusty. Okay, so they did nothing, but they do get to turn after timing out, so they might just be disconnected or AFK or something. The sad part is I'm not even beating the Tetsimok if they end up casting it here after F6ing through all of their blockers, because then I have no board left. But it did put them to 2, so their life total situation is going to be pretty sketchy for quite a while. If I deal with this Tetsimok, they will have to start keeping Glyphkeeper back as soon as I draw another creature. Like this one. I guess I can like cycle this first and then just put Maverick Fane down. What the hell? Like, I know the only thing I could do with this card was cycle it, but when I had Abrade where I could deal damage or destroy an artifact, but there were 0 artifacts. Wait, what? Oh, I can go through the graveyard, sure. Done. Yeah, it still asked me what I wanted to do. Whether I wanted to... I think Maverick Feint is actually better for me, even though it's non-flying, because it gives my opponent more of a chance to misplay by attacking with the Tetsimok. By attacking with the Glyphkeeper, I mean, and only keeping the Tetsimok back. If I play this, they know that they have to keep their Glyphkeeper back and attack me with Tetsimok, and then I take the maximum amount of damage while also not having a lethal setup. And here they might get overconfident, and maybe I can get these 2 damage in by having a removal spell. So yeah, back to my previous point, when I had a Braid that only had 1 legal mode, it was still asking me for a choice between those modes. And here I had cycling or like the illegal casting it, and just clicking on it made me immediately cycle, so it no longer acknowledged the fact that there was a different thing I could be doing with Forsake. Though I guess that's only the case for like modal spells. With modal spells it always gives you both choices, even if one of them is illegal. And with cycling against casting it, it automatically notices whether casting is illegal or not. Okay, so we ended up stealing the game here apparently. Unless they have some kind of land drop plus another Moment of Craving or something. That's pretty fortunate. Well, at least the exact play that I had predicted worked out, that I gave them a chance to not keep their Glyphkeeper back on defense and only keep the Tetsimok, and then they die. Though that was a pretty huge mistake by my opponent. Well, pre-constructed deck getting there through timeout plus misplay by my opponent. Okay, so we get another 50 gold, 3 out of 3, though I assume this is going to be 3 out of 4 as soon as I claimed this, because it just keeps continuing, but it never tells you how long you can continue for. Let's open up our random card. That's Soken Seer. So this just seems to be a random common or uncommon, at least for now. Maybe you can randomly get lucky and get more. Yeah, now it's 3 out of 4, but how can I know how many of these I can do? Or can I just do like an infinite amount of them for 50 gold each? No one knows, and no one's telling me either. Okay, so time for deck improvements for black-white. Just a little bit. Once again, making some improvements without crafting anything for now. Seeing what else my pool has to offer. More Addenda Vanguard seems like a must. Dorn Pouncer is like a reasonable beater, though it's a non-vampire. I'm not even certain how much payoff we have for Vampire-ness yet. For now, we have 1 Legion Lieutenant, but no more in my collection. If I click on adding some, it asks me to craft them. Glorybound Initiate, also a decent beater, also not a vampire. 2 Legion Conquistadors seems too little for a constructed deck. I would want to have access to the full 4. And also probably like Oketra's Monument or something to combo off with these. Radiant Destiny seems like a great way to reward me for having a lot of vampires, as well as potentially Triad of Solidarity, so that once I'm filling my board with tokens, I get another payoff for going wide. Not sure if Angel of Combination ends up holding up. Angel of Sanction seems decent though. Also, do we have enough token generation for Anointed Procession? I don't think I have a Legion's Landing or something yet. No, seems like I don't. I could filter to show me unowned cards, but as we're not crafting anything at this point, doesn't seem worth it. Let's just see what we have access to. So I guess my deck is still pretty low on token generation at this point. We have these Queen's Commissions and the Maverick Feint. This Forsake the Worldly, and probably the Squire's Devotion as well, though then Farmish Paladin gets worse as well. If it's not, well, it's always going to be untapping with our life-linking tokens. Regal Colorcrest Crested Sunmare seems powerful. I mean, it's not a vampire, as well as it's pretty expensive, but having some high impact mythic rare should be good in the early stages when no one really has powerful cards, right? So that if we're fighting with low power cards against low power cards, then we end up pulling ahead with our slightly better mythics. Eye of the Conquerors. I think we just replaced that with the Radiant Destiny and the Trial of Solidarity. Seems like a better way to get the same effect. Probably, well, our curve is a little high after I added a bunch of 5-drops, so there's some downside to that. Yeah, I probably don't want to do all of this. Maybe this is actually too low impact because all the rares and mythics actually feel better. And I would maybe want some Moment of Cravings, but I'm currently over 60 cards with how many lands? 12, 13, 14, 15, 24, 25. It's reasonable with how high my curve is, though at some point, if they make this a low curve aggressive deck, we would want to cut down on the number of lands that are in there in total. 2 Forerunners seem pretty nice. I mean, these are actually not that powerful. Though then I guess if we are no longer creating any kind of token making, we can also cut down on the number of Anthem effects, and then with all of this kind of losing the point. Chupacabra seems pretty nice, just as a blowout way to fight for the board. Seems better than the random removal and creature spells we do have in that range of the curve. Like these 2 flyers. Is there something better in the 3-drop slot we can run? Start to Finish. That's a good token maker, but we're currently not heavy enough on the token making. Though that's pretty interesting for the constructed format. Is Hidden Stockpile? I guess Hidden Stockpile is colorless block, right? So that's not available. Because we have Anointed Procession, like Start to Finish, Treasure Map, all that stuff. So I was wondering whether, like, what a token deck would look like in that format. But yeah, I guess because they do have Legion's Landing as well. Yeah, it's Revolt, so yeah. Easy to figure it out if you just think about the mechanic, but yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Raska is in here though, so maybe, well, I guess the card is just so important to the token stack, so it becomes more difficult. You would have to build like aggro tokens, more like the green-white token stack, where you have server exhibition and all that stuff going on. That might be a deck. Though I guess that also relies on colorless cards. Yeah, porting standard decks is going to be super difficult because this seems pretty low impact though. Most of the current standard decks are so heavily built around color dash because that's such a powerful block, so just porting standard decks is not going to be so easy. You will have to come up with some new ideas, though. Blue-black control and mono-red do seem like pretty nice things to build on. Another rank 4. Still not sure if a rank 2 and a rank 3 even exist, because we haven't seen such a thing yet. And your opponent goes first. So once again, pretty borderline. My curve starts a little late, but it does have a reasonable mix of lands and spells. Well, I think I'll be greedy once again and mulligan, and now this happens again where my curve is a lot better, but I'm slightly mana screwed. I'll try keeping this rather than going to 6 though. And let's top this, because I'm on the draw, and that gives me, even though it's a painful white source, it is a white source. So now my hand is very functional. Foul or card. Okay, so whenever painful mana payment or like mana payment involving a counter or something is required, it does ask me to manually confirm that. Which is also why I preferred using basic lands over tapping this for colorless. It just never touches these lands without my explicit consent. Tomb Robber, sure. They put it into their graveyard. Not sure why it had to be revealed as a huge card to me when they could just reveal it on top of the deck or in the graveyard, but sure thing. Well, I guess it makes sense. If that's the revealed card, then just make it look like all the revealed cards in all of the zones. Okay, so some kind of explore-centric black-green deck that makes a lot of sense, with a lot of explore going on. Enter the unknown. And they drew land. Yeah, that's pretty decent. So they did truly explore there. Like, what would I even search for with this? The downside is it also makes me miss my land drops. Though I guess I could find out whether I can fail to find. Yeah, that's it. It's probably, like, it's incorrect to search for a vampire here, I think, because I would rather find a 4th land. So in those cases, I would rather Queen's Commission than Forerunner of the Legion. But Forerunner of the Legion into Queen's Commission is also a reasonable curve, and I want to find out whether I can fail to find or not. I can decline, but yeah, I want to take action and then not search for anything. Done. Okay, so that worked. That was pretty easy. Like, we're still trying to test out the interface here more than trying to win, so. And yeah, we are getting a nice damage swing in here by following up with Queen's Commission. That is the wrong Chupacabra. Though I guess if they explore a bunch here, they might still be destroying me with this Chupacabra. It could actually turn out to be the right Chupacabra. Whenever they... Why is it going by? What? Okay, somehow the card didn't want to show up anymore. So whenever they explore, a creature gets -2/-2, so they can like shoot down all of my little vampire dudes and doodads. And there's not much I can do about it. Oh, do I want to do this? If I play this, then I can go super ham with Call to the Feast. Though I guess both of my Forerunners of the Legion would just be shut down pretty quickly with a bunch of exploring, so. Sure. Keep this back on defense in case it doesn't die, then I can potentially trade it off. Though I assume my opponent's deck is chock full of exploring. Never mind, they get the City's Blessing instead. Ascend. Looks like some kind of candle. And flying has the same like star with the swirl icon that haste and flash also have. That seems pretty uninspired. Huh. Trade both of my tokens off. Well, any kind of trade is bad for me because it triggers this harpy. But I do need to keep my life total a little bit in check. I can just jump block with one vampire and then keep flying over. And well, or I trade and hope to find Bishop of the Binding mana. Okay, let's do that, because that would allow me to get the Mausoleum Harpy off of the board. Though my Bishop of the Binding is just going to die to Chupacabra as well. Currently they didn't have a way to explore yet, or at least they valued their Harpy over more exploring. Oh no, I'm pretty screwed. I think I still want to put this down both as a blocker and turn, submit. What? I do need a target, sure. Decline. Yeah, because I just need to cast this and get rid of the Harpy. Okay, they got a land. They kill a dude. Their Wild Growth Walker grows. Unfortunate. Turn of events. I'll throw this away. My game plan is going to be exiling the owl without... Okay, never mind. We are just dead. I guess it's a harpy, though it looks like an owl. It's like the most owl-looking harpy I've ever seen. Whatever. My plan was to exile it and then get some card advantage back with the Champion of Dusk while constantly jump blocking, but yeah, too many missed land drops. What else did... Wait. Why was this filling up? I have no idea what that even means, that it's filling up. And it's not telling me either. We failed to get another 50 gold win. But we're at 11 out of 12 black or red spells, so I guess I should be playing a black or red deck so that I put this timer to